Hey guys, off the Mike Sports Network here. Let's talk a big bit of news in the NFL. Saquon Barkley gets a big time extension from the Philadelphia Eagles, 2 years, I believe, over $40 million, the first ever $20 million a year back in the league. Good for him. He's earned it. He had a historic season. I thought he was bordering on MVP, but it's a quarterback league. But he was the most important. I think he was the most important and most valuable player in the NFL. And it begs the question that I've been debating in my mind for a long time. I know a lot of Giants fans, and it's hard to fault them for saying, yeah, we were right to move off of Saquon Barkley. But let's get real here. This was a mistake by them. They picked the wrong guy. I understand their mentality of like saying, hey, we went to the playoffs. We've got to invest in a quarterback, and maybe their offense wasn't structured enough for Saquon Barkley. But to allow this situation to be out of your hands and to, be in a situation where you don't hold control of your own fate and he goes to your rival and wins a Super Bowl in the first season there. Like, if you're a Giants fan and you want to get up and quit rooting for that team, I don't blame you. I don't. This was a colossal mistake and a colossal failure by the Giants organization. Yes, I understand that a lot of this was enhanced because of, he literally went to the perfect team. But guess what? You could have prevented it and you could have found a way to try and make it work. Or you could have tried to trade him if you didn't think that you were going to be able to keep him. And they had a franchise tag on him. There was opportunities to get something back. That's the other part of this that I don't understand. If just as a bystander in the NFL, like, yes, you invested a number one pick in this guy, and I understand he's been hurt a lot and maybe didn't produce at the level that you wanted him to. You also chose a quarterback off of 1 year, strike one. And then strike two is, like I said, you don't pay him, or you don't give him any reason to stay. You let him walk freely out the door. Basically, I think they got a compensatory pick for him, if I'm not mistaken. You guys can correct me on that, but that's nothing. That's nothing in the grand scheme of things. We're talking about one of the most gifted running backs in the NFL who's had trouble staying healthy, but has the physical gifts of one of the most gifted guys athletically that I've ever seen play any position in the NFL. This guy does crazy shit. Like, he did a backwards leapfrog over a defender this year and did it backwards. Okay? So, listen, I understand the mentality of Giants fans saying, okay, yeah, it's easy to, say we kind of were, a lot of this is enhanced. If we would have kept him, we don't know if it was happened. That's totally fair. But again, my issue is they didn't get any. So first thing is they paid the wrong guy, Daniel Jones, number one. Then they basically let Saquon Barkley, one of a franchise player at not so much of a value position, you let him walk, and then he goes to your rival team, your biggest rival in the Philadelphia Eagles, and right away wins the Super Bowl. Right away, almost breaks the NFL rushing record. Okay? Like, you could have prevented this all from happening if you're the New York Giants. You could have easily prevented this. And that's why I think that this is one of the biggest whiffs, in modern NFL history. Like, we talk about the Deshaun Watson. Like, that's the worst trade, worst transaction, worst contract. But for the Giants to just basically let this go freely and not get anything of value back, that's why I'm starting to think even worse and worse about this. Initially, when it happened, I was like, okay, Giants were kind of justified. Like, they were kind of backed into a corner. They picked a quarterback. It didn't work out. But then, like I said, you could have found a way to make this work 10 times better with him on the franchise tag. You could have easily traded him somewhere and gotten more value. You get a compensatory pick at best out of this? Are you kidding me? And then he goes to your biggest rival and wins a fucking Super Bowl and is literally one of the most dominant players in the league, has maybe one of the best running back seasons of all time. And I understand that has a lot to do with the Eagles' offense and their offensive line and just how talented this team is. But you basically just gifted Howie Roseman something. It's another reason why I've been mad with the Tennessee Titans and the Tennessee Titans for letting him go. But then the Dallas Cowboys had a perfect opportunity to bring in Derrick Henry, yet he goes to the Baltimore Ravens, who are the perfect team for him, and it's been unleashed on the NFL. So yeah, Giants, you fucked over the rest of the NFL because you gave one of the best players in football to an already dominant team in the Philadelphia Eagles, who just so happen to be your biggest rival, after you picked a quarterback, after you didn't pay this guy and got no value for him. Again, 3 strikes and you're out. I know it's a different sport, but that's more than 3 strikes. In my opinion, you probably have double strikes because these are cardinal sins that you just do not do as a general manager, as an organization, which is why I am stunned that Joe Shane still has a job in New York right now. I get, I just, I mean, I get from an organizational perspective, you want to keep continuity, and you kept Brian Daboll, so you don't want to fire one or the other. You would have to fire both. That's the only thing I can think of that even remotely justifies this. Other than that, like, what are we doing here? Like, this is a baffling and just catastrophic, like, series of events that have happened with the Giants. This is a proud organization that won 2 Super Bowls. That's won 2 Super Bowls in the last 2 decades. Like, they beat the Patriots. Granted, it was 18 years ago, but they beat the Patriots. They beat the Patriots twice. Like, and now this organization is just trying to stay relevant. Both New York football teams are not relevant at this point. So my reflection on this, as a guy who thought that the Browns, his team might have drafted Saquon Barkley. I knew he was good. I knew there were some injury concerns with him. But the reason why this stands out to me so much is just because all of it was preventable. Not even so much like you could, yeah, the rivalry part is obviously a big piece of this, but they could have prevented all of this from happening. And instead, he gets to pick his own team, he goes to the Eagles, and they win a Super Bowl in year 1. And who knows, maybe they go on a run because they're a damn sure dominant team. And one thing you never do, you never give other organizations that are as good as the Philadelphia Eagles. You don't let good organizations get better. And that's what they did. So thanks, New York Giants, for kind of ruining a lot of people in the NFL's opinions, because you just don't know how to run your organization. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. We'll have more coming here on the channel. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.